This is a 21-day process, and I'm excited that this first 7 days is all about determining who you are. You know, everybody likes to say who you are. Everybody likes to talk about who you are, sometimes behind your back, but they don't really know, and you're the one who decides. So yesterday I asked you, we talked a little bit about this whole idea of life and death, that what we speak is so very important, because what we speak often materializes in our lives. So if we speak positive things, we're more likely to get them. But if we constantly speak negative things over our lives, then we shouldn't be surprised when we get the negative. I think we oftentimes want to save ourselves pain by not having high expectations. Oh, it's not going to work out anyway. Oh, you know, I don't think I should even try to do that. And those negative things, when we manifest them, we get disappointed, but we don't realize that we put that in the atmosphere. So we talked about what it means to speak death, destructive emotions, actions, thoughts, and habits, those things that keep us from our goal. Look, 2025, we decided death is out the door in terms of the death that we speak over our own lives. And so these 21 days are going to allow us to speak life. And that life is going to be so powerful. So yesterday we talked about this idea of speaking death and life. And then we said, I want you to think about 3 things you absolutely love about yourself. What is it that you love about you? I'm not asking you in this moment to be humble. I'm not asking you in this moment to say, oh, but I'm not this and I'm not that. I'm asking you to say, this is what makes Denise great. This is what makes Kim great, or Mary, or Cynthia, or Karen. This is what's special about us. I'm sorry, something's trying to stay in the way of me giving you this message, but ain't nothing gonna keep me back. We're going to keep going. So anyway, yesterday I asked you to say what you loved about yourself. If you have a moment, can you also put that in the chat? And I want you to do it like this. I want you to say, I love blank about me. I want you to declare and decree those things that are positive about yourself. As you put those things in the chat, what I want to do is to share with you for a second. I want to take you back to the very first page. I told you yesterday, I put on my workbook, this is mine. I'm writing on it. I'm claiming it and naming it. And I said, this year I'm ready for something different and I'm tired of wasting time. So that's what I put on mine. You name and claim yours the way that you want. But it's important to know, I can't say enough. I want you to know what this path looks like. The second page of your guides give you a declaration page. And we're going to use this page throughout 2025 because we're going to go back to it. There are moments when you're going to be discouraged. There are moments that you're going to feel like nothing is working out. And that's the moment I need you to go back to this declaration page. And so that first declaration took my word and I made something out of it. So you see where I did that there. And then when we get to page 3, we're working right now on week 1. Who are you really? And so each day I've given you a different question. You're to write that question down, write your initial answer, and then also the secondary answer by the end of the day. So here it is that I asked you yesterday, what are 3 things you love about yourself? I personalized it. And I said, for me, I am a giver. I am always striving to do better, and I create powerful tools to help people heal. So I'm keeping this slide up for a second because this is what I want you to do next. We're about to go back to our declaration page, and I want you to think about the 3 things that you highlighted from day 3. When I asked you yesterday about your identity, when I asked you on day 3 about your identity, I said, now everything you listed, I wanted you to highlight 3 things that were most important to you. Now, I highlighted 4 because I don't pay attention to rules, but I'm saying wife/mom, that'll make it 1. So I said, I love that a part of that's essential to my identity is I'm a wife/mom, a visionary, and a child of God. And then on the heels of that, I asked you to name 3 things, 3 internal characteristics that you absolutely love about yourself. So in that context, the first thing I'm going to have you do today is go back to the declaration page on page 2. And in that declaration page, what you see is a box at the very top that says present. And in that present box, I want you to make a declaration statement that says, I am. And after the I am, I want you to combine some of the answers from day 3, the 3 things that are important to your identity, and then the 3 things from day 4 that you absolutely love about yourself. Now, my sister told me that you need to give people an example of what you're talking about. So let me tell you what my book says. It says, you'll see right there in the present, I know how to make it bigger. So Malcolm's proud of me. It says, I am a wife/mother, visionary, and child of God who is also a giver, constantly strives to be better, and is blessed to create powerful tools to help people learn, grow, and heal. I took day 2, day 3, and day 4 and made it into a power statement so that on days when I need it, or every day when I wake up, I can go back to this declaration page and remind myself of who I am. This is in the present, that today I am a wife, mother, visionary, and child of God who's also a giver, strives to do better, and is blessed to create powerful tools. I need you to make sure that you go back on your declaration page and share that sentiment with yourself. This powerful statement is for you. Does that make sense? If you have any questions for me, make sure that you put those in the chat as well, because I want to make sure that we absolutely positively attend to the things that you need us to do. So this idea of us pouring back into our own lives is so very important. What I find often is that when I work with clients, they come and what they tell me is, well, my husband or my daughter or this such and such, they never really know or talk about what's good about me. All they do is want something from me. And although we want those people to give us everything that we need, what the clients sometimes don't remember is that the power and the control lies within us. Oftentimes we want affirmation and kudos from external sources when we can give it to ourselves. We can absolutely remember who we are. It's the foundation. If I feel good about me, then I'm in a better place to eventually talk to my husband and say, hey, I feel good about me, but let me tell you about some things that I need from you or things that I want from you. So I love that we have this sense of power and control. And most of us as humans want some kind of control, but yet we give up that control and instead cede it to other people. I want you to remember in this 21 days to life that you have more control than you ever thought possible. And that is because I can determine how I see myself and how I go from this point. All right. So as we think about this whole idea that, I love what Sherry said. I love that I'm compassionate, a listener, and a helper. Affirm yourself. I think it's one of, we can go to a spa and spend $100 to $300 on a massage, and that'll make us feel better. We can go on a trip across the ocean and spend thousands of dollars to make us feel better. And we can also, for free, remind ourselves who we are and how important that we are. And it makes all the difference. One of the things that I think about is that a couple of years ago, I got a call, and it was from the Real Housewives of Potomac, and they said they were looking for a life coach for one of the folks on their show. And so I'm just like, how did you get my name? And they were like, well, we just found you online. So we make the arrangements for me to meet with the person from the show so that I could coach her. And I remember hanging the phone up and calling a friend at the time and saying, I don't, why did they call me? I don't understand. And one of the things that she said that I will always remember is she said, do you know who the heck you are? Do you know who the heck you are? And it jolted me in that moment because, again, I'm looking for other people to tell me, but it had to be internal to say, yeah, I'm a heck of a good coach. Yeah, my life work has prepared me for this moment. Yes, they chose me for a reason. And you know what? The the proof of that was, I remember after doing the show, I was able to not only coach the person, but every time we spoke, here it was, I had 4 cameras on me, people in the back directing, telling you what to do. It's way different than what you see on TV. And with all of these distractions, I was able to remember every element of that conversation without taking one note, so that after the session, I was able to write up my notes and tell, okay, you said this is what I'm recommending that you do. And I said to myself, do you know who the heck you are? Do you know what you just did? Despite all the distractions, you were a phenomenal coach. And I didn't, although it was nice for people to say you did a good job on the show, it was a better thing for me to say, yeah, girl, you did that thing. You did that thing. So today, if we think about nothing else, I want it to be that this power of us speaking life over ourselves and being intentional about that every single day, how very important it is. Now, here's a thought that I have for you. So I tell everybody I'm a life coach. I think it's the bridge. I did it because after getting a degree in marriage and family therapy, I realized that I was not built to be a therapist, that the clinical stance that was needed there, the deep issues that you had to prepare yourself to deal with, it was just not my gift. And so I decided I wanted to be a coach. And especially because in my community, people were like, I don't know if nothing wrong with me. I don't need a therapist. But when I said I was a coach and I'm trained to walk with you through the process, people were more likely to come along. But here's what it was, not because I thought therapy was wrong, because I thought therapy is necessary. I tell people that therapy saved my life when my mom was killed. So I became a coach so that I could be the bridge between the two, that when people developed trust in me, and I said, I think you need a little more than I can provide, because they trusted me, they were more likely to go to therapy. And so this whole idea of being able to be a coach was important to me. So I decided that if I believe in being a coach, I would also get a coach, right? And so my coach has worked with me, and what he has asked me to do every day is to set my intentions. So this idea that I'm telling you today about control, being able to speak life, he said, when you get up in the morning, what are your intentions for your day? What is it you're going to do? So if I have a meeting and I'm a little nervous about the meeting and not, I'm not sure what's going to be the outcome of the meeting, that I set my intentions that I'm going to go in that meeting with a degree of confidence and clarity to get done these 3 things that I need out of that meeting. I am setting my intention. If my intention is today, I want to connect with one of my 3 sons, that I'm going to call them or have dinner with them. And when I am with them in their presence, I will be present, that I can I'm not going to think about all the things I have to do afterwards. I'm not going to think about the things tomorrow, but just be present. And I love him making me do that, because it's this degree of control over my life, that I'm able to say, this is my intention for today. If you like that idea, let me know. In fact, if you like the idea, put an intention that you're going to set for yourself today, that you are going to do this. Now, let me tell you the other side of that. That would be really, really easy if all I had to worry about is what I control and what I say. But do any of you have these expectations that are placed on you by other people? That even though I want to be present with my sons and have dinner with them, their expectations may be totally different. What they need is totally different than what I'm projecting. And so this whole idea that people change everything. They say life would be easy if it wasn't for the people. Yep. And so here's this idea that I can set my intentions, but the expectations of others are always going to have some level of impact. Let's not be naive. Those expectations can and will do something to us. The other day, what we reviewed and talked about a little bit was these expectations that we have from internal spaces. And I want to share that with you really quickly so that we can just revisit that for a second. And that is that there's this box that we can be placed in And in the box, I say it's the box from the expectation that we're going to be strong from our culture, angry from our society, saved from our spiritual community, and also super that comes internally. It's this idea, although the labels might change, it's understanding that everyone's expectations of us may box us in at times. And it's this idea that instead of these walls surrounding us, that we make them a fence where there's a gate and you can actually get out of it. And so I want you to think about the expectations that you have from people. Whereas I name them that way for in the whole heart system, the expectations that surround you come from the people that matter most to you. So you may have expectations from your family. You may also you may also have expectations from your friends, your church community, your coworkers. You may have expectations from other groups that are not named here. What I want you to think about is what are those expectations that absolutely have something to do and have influence on who I am and the way I'm able to carry out my life. And so that really leads us to the question for today. And I always want to make sure that with that question, I'm saying it exactly as I want you to consider it. So I want again to read this to you. And the question for today is, what's expected of you by your family, friends, coworkers, church, and other groups? What's expected of you by your family, friends, coworkers, churches, and other groups who are important to you? What are those expectations that other people place on you? We'll make sure that we put that question in the chat as well. But I want you to really consider those expectations. Again, I'm going to share my screen real quick because I want you to not only see it, but also see the process that I've gone through in terms of answering that question. All right. So here, what I've done is I've written, and I always personalize the question. So instead of saying you, I say me. But I've asked right here, what's expected of me by my family, friends, coworkers, church, and other key groups. Now, in this process, I always ask you to write down your initial answer and then go back, reflect all day, even ask the people, and then come back and finalize your answer. But as I began this process this morning, what I did is I said, okay, what's expected from me by my husband, my sons, my friends, my whole heart team that I manage, my funeral home team that I manage, and also the boards that I sit in, because all of their expectations, I will tell you, can weigh on me in ways that are powerful, that affect who I am and who I am really. And so being able to articulate those expectations so that later we can manage them. Don't forget, we got day 6 and 7, so we're still going to work through it. But I need to know what they expect from you. Now, here's what I recommend for today, that you actually, and I don't need to share that anymore, but that you actually think about all of your categories. What do people expect from you? And then put your initial answer. And so I would say my husband expects for me to take care of everything so that he doesn't have to worry about anything. Maybe I need some help with that. So I'd write that down, and then I would encourage you to have conversations with some people in those groups. So asking him today, like, what is it that you really expect me to be able to do? What do you expect when it comes to our relationship and our family? What do you expect of me? Because I want to have a chance to compare what it is I think and believe to what it is they are really saying. And one of the things that I would encourage you to do, if you ask other people what they think their role, what their expectations are of you, is that you use this philosophy that we call wholehearted communication. And that's where we talk about, we listen and we speak with our whole hearts. Actually, I should have had that graphic for you today, and I'll share it with you tomorrow. But it's this idea that I really, really listen to the other person. And that's the advice I'm going to give to you today. I want you to listen not with the expectation of what they should say, with your mind in other places and thinking about other things, but really listening to what they say. And then if you can repeat it back to them, like, what I hear you saying is this. Because do you know that sometimes what you hear people saying and what they're actually saying is two different things? The difference is sometimes we're clouded by our baggage and our past experience, so that when you say something to me, all I hear is criticism, or all I hear is the negative. And so we want to have these open conversations where we really listen, and we ask a question, making sure that we understand what they say. So Kim says, I'm trying to understand my expectations from my church or Christian living, which I think is so powerful, Kim. And this is one of the examples of a question that it might take us all day to really think about. And we're going to probably be thinking about the rest of the 21 days. I would encourage you to, number one, do reflection about what do I think they expect from me? And then if there are one or two people you can talk to, like, what do you think? If you could talk to the pastor, if you could talk to another member, because they can have a totally different perspective. This program is designed to encourage dialogue in a way that will increase and expand this entire year. The reason why we keep starting the year off on a good note but falling off is because there's some things that we need to learn how to do differently. There's some ways that our perspective needs to shift, and this process is designed to help us to do exactly that. Now, we know it's not always going to be super easy. We know we can't get everything done in 21 days. But here's what I'll tell you for sure. We as a team at the Whole Heart Center are here to help you through that process. You can keep chatting here and putting questions in the chat, but also remember that we actually have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for you now. And so if you're thinking of these things or you're struggling with anything after the live session, I encourage you to put questions and thoughts in the Facebook group. I'll make sure that I'm monitoring it and our team is monitoring it so that we can have interaction with you. And then also we actually have a Wholehearted Life workbook that if you like what we're doing here, you just go on Amazon, Wholehearted Life, Dr. Denise Rollins, and it really allows you to look at the entire year. And as you look at the entire year, it's saying what's your plan for the year, how will you live intentionally, fearlessly, and expectantly. And it also gives you pages for every week, how you set your intentions for those weeks, as well as some exercises that I've referenced here. But we use that oftentimes with our clients because it's a good way to not only guide you, but also to document your progress. So between the Facebook page, the workout book, the workbook that we talked about, and the fact that you can interact with us here, know that this is a journey that we are taking together. I mean that sincerely. When I say that, what I love about myself is this ability to create tools to help people learn, grow, and heal. This is my purpose. So when you are interacting with me and saying, this is what I need, I'm absolutely here for it. And I'm actually here to help. All right. So remember the day 5. Five is grace and favor, and that this is a year of restoration. And so we are going to do this together, 21 days. This is day 5. Be blessed today and every day. And then remember, we will be back together tomorrow, rain, snow, or shine, from 8 to 8:30. You have a phenomenal day. And I just want to sincerely say thank you. Thank you for being part of this process. You've blessed us. All right. See you later.
Yeah.